Hello guys! Welcome on our video. On our video today, we are focusing on developing story about the misunderstanding between Kenya executive and judiciary.
Nilipatiwa panga pale, nilipatiwa sword kubwa hivi. Wani mnafikiri hiyo sword ni ya kukata mboga? Si ni ya kufyeka wakora hawa?
The attack started by President Ruto, who accused some judicial officers to be used by opposition to stop government projects. Chief Justice Martha responded by telling his officers to work without fearing anybody. How did we reach here?
Mimi nataka munisaidie mahali moja. Munizungumzie huyu seneta wetu tafadhali. Bwana Omutata. Wewe sasa unataka kunipeleka kotini. Na ile kazi mimi nafanya ni kupangia watu hawa ajira. Kwani sasa utaki hawa watu wapateko kazi, please. Hokia, tafadhali. Ama namna gani jameni watu wa Busia? Nisaidieni jameni, mumuongeleshe huyu jamaa apunguze mambo ya kotini. Yeye amesema ni rafiki yangu na ni kweli ni rafiki yangu. Ama namna gani? Tunaelewana? Na unajua uzuri ya huyu Okia, hata akinipeleka kotini si mbaya. Kwa sababu yeye hajapanga kuharibu biashara ya mtu. Si ndio? At least hajapanga maandamano. Unajua kuna wengine wananitisha ati usipofanya hii tutapeleka maandamano. Sasa hawa wengine ndio wabaya zaidi. Eri huyu Okia. Eri huyu at least akinipeleka kotini, hakuna kibanda ya mama itachomeka, mboga ya mtu haiwezi kuharibika, biashara ya mtu haiwezi kuharibika, tutangangana na yeye huko kotini. Ama namna gani? So, lakini ile kitu mimi nataka niulize, as a nation, we must think as a nation. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Na sasa wewe Okia, wale watu wa handshake wenye walikuwa wanapanga mambo ya vyeo, mambo ya nini ya wadosi, haukuwapeleka kotini. Bwana wewe unataka kunipeleka kotini mimi nikipanga kazi ya mao mahasla. Si unaona unanionea tu bure. Wale ndio ungewapeleka kotini kwa sababu walikuwa wanatusumbua. Ama namna gani? Si huyo Okia ndiye angepeleka wale watu ya kutupelea BBI sijui nini akatusumbua. Si angepeleka kotini. Awali nisamee kidogo nipange mambo ya mama.
On this video, we are going to look at President Ruto's relationship with judiciary since he was sworn in. Before we do that, kindly subscribe to our channel if you have not yet subscribed. Please like this video and leave a comment for us. Thank you so much. Now guys, let's dive in. After court cleared him to be sworn in as president, William Ruto was very grateful to the judiciary. And he appointed 6 judges who were rejected by President Uhuru Kenyatta. He said in his speech, "To further demonstrate my commitment to the judiciary, this afternoon I will appoint the 6 judges already nominated to the Court of Appeal, which was done 3 years ago by the Judicial Service Commission, and tomorrow I shall preside their swearing in so that they can get on with their business of serving the people of Kenya," said the president in his speech at the Kasarani Stadium. Dr. Ruto promised to increase funding for the judiciary to at least Kenya shillings 90 billion in the next 5 years. After years of fighting to have 25% of the Kenya shillings 3.3 trillion budget, the judiciary, by July 1st, was to get at least Kenya shillings 75 billion. Chief Justice Martha's predecessor David Maraga had been battling to get at least Kenya shillings 75 billion, which is 25% of the budget. Kenya's president-elect William Ruto has welcomed Monday's ruling by the Supreme Court upholding his election in the August general election. Addressing the nation at his Karen residence in the afternoon, Ruto said he was overwhelmed and humbled by the verdict and hailed the 7-judge bench for upholding the Constitution's will. This afternoon, with a unanimous decision of the Supreme Court, our lengthy, suspenseful, and protracted election has come to an end. My fellow presidential candidates and I made our respective cases before Kenyans, said Dr. Ruto. The court returned its verdict, and I welcome it with tremendous humility. I salute the judges of the Supreme Court who have performed their duty with utmost fidelity to the Constitution. Ruto praised the Supreme Court judges for listening to all parties in the contention before applying what he called impartiality and patriotism in determining the case. They listened to all parties, considered all issues, applied the law, and demonstrated their learning, impartiality, and patriotism. Their professionalism has elevated the stature of the judiciary, enhanced the petition process in legitimizing the election process as the true reflection of the people's decision, and afforded the nation an opportunity to reflect, said Ruto. He further commended the CJ Martha-led team for sticking to the rule of law, even in the most daunting of circumstances. I thank the judiciary, and the Supreme Court in particular, for staying strong as the shining beacon of constitutionalism and the rule of law even in the most daunting of circumstances. And you know what I mean, he said. The unanimous decision on all the 9 issues confirms the fidelity of the IEBC to both the law and the Constitution. I therefore commend the Commission for their noble achievement to serve the people of Kenya by ensuring that their sovereign will is upheld, added the President-elect. We declare the election of the first respondent as President-elect to be valid. Chief Justice Martha ruled. On all the events above, Ruto was okay with judiciary. But wait until recently he started opposing judiciary when most of his Kenya Kwanza policies were challenged in court, and courts ruled against his Kenya Kwanza policies. Now the relationship is turning south. President Ruto comments against judiciary have increased.
Itabidi sasa tuwe na mjadala na watu ambao wanapeleka makesi kotini kuzuia maendeleo katika taifa letu la Kenya. Itabidi tuulizane maswali. Kweli ama si kweli? Yes, itabidi tuulizane maswali. Haiwezekani ya kwamba Kenya, maendeleo ambayo tumekuwa tukingojea miaka nyingi, mipango ambayo iko katika katiba ya Kenya, mipango imepitishwa katika bunge la Kenya, mipango ambayo wananchi wa Kenya wamepigia kura katika manifesto ya chama wamechagua, ati watu wachache 2 watatu wameenda kotini, wakahongana kotini, mpango hiyo ikasimamishwa, barabara ikasimamishwa, universal health coverage inasimamishwa, mambo ya housing inasimamishwa. Lazima tuulizane, lazima tuwe na mjadala. We must ask ourselves, ama namna gani? Yes, lazima tuulizane maswali. Na ndio mimi nataka niseme, we are a democracy. We respect, we will protect the independence of the judiciary. What we will not allow is judicial tyranny and judicial impunity. That we will not allow. That will not happen. Mambo ya watu wachache, people with vested interest, people who are beneficiaries of the corruption in the former NHIF, ganging up with corrupt judicial officials to stall the program that is going to make it possible for ordinary citizens to access healthcare, so that a few corrupt characters, hospitals, fake doctors, can continue to steal from NHIF. I want to tell them it will not happen in Kenya again, and we will stop it. We support the independence of the judiciary, but corrupt judicial officials working with those who vested interests that are benefiting from money stolen from NHIF, who want to perpetuate judicial tyranny and judicial impunity, we will deal with them. We will fight with them. We will not allow them. They will not go far. Mimi nataka niwatangazie mapema, Mimi ni mtu ambaye naamini mahakama. I respect the judiciary. I respect the independence of the judiciary. But I also believe that the judiciary cannot be abused by a few corrupt judicial officials. Imagine, haiwezekani ya kwamba wakati tunaheshimu uhuru wa mahakama, watu wachache, watu ambayo ni beneficiaries, kama wale beneficiaries ambao wamekuwa wakiiba pesa yetu pale NHIF. 50% ya pesa ya NHIF zinafujwa na mahospitali chache, wakora chache, fake hospitals, fake doctors wanafuja pesa ya NHIF. Tumesema ya kwamba tunabadilisha sheria. Hawa wabunge wamebadilisha sheria. Mimi nimeweka kidole, imekuwa sheria ya Kenya, kwamba sasa tutabadilisha vile mambo ya NHIF inaenda mbele, ili tuzuie pesa ya umma isipotee. Tukawa na digital health bill ambayo sasa itaweka a digital system that will protect resources that are meant for health in Kenya. Alafu watu wachache ambao wamekuwa wakiiba hiyo pesa wameenda wakatafutana na corrupt judicial officials, wakapanga njama ati wazuie ndio waendelee kuiba pesa ya NHIF, nusu ya pesa ya NHIF. I want to tell you my friends, hiyo haiwezi kuendelea. Sijui kama tunaelewana.
But how did all this started? Several ruling and decisions from the High Court on President Ruto's flagship projects seem on the preliminary to be at the heart of the president's scathing attacks on the judiciary. The latest project to come to a halt through the courts is the social health scheme laws that have been suspended after a petitioner moved to court to challenge them on grounds that they contravened the Constitution with provisions seeking to deny Kenyans critical rights. The housing levy, meant to finance the ambitious project to have the government build 250,000 housing units, was declared unconstitutional as the High Court found it discriminatory as it made an unjustified distinction between people employed in the formal and informal sectors. Ruto has been able to push through even controversial laws through the legislature through the sheer force of his party UDA's numbers or threats when need be. But the judiciary remains the one arm of government that isn't dancing to his tune just yet. The judiciary holding steadfast to the independence that the Constitution grants it in Article 10, which directs it to exercise judicial authority, subject only to the Constitution and the law, and not to be subject to the control or direction of any person or authority. It is also guided in exercising that independence in the principles that justice shall be done to all, irrespective of status, and shall not be delayed. And the courts, through various administrations, appear to strive to uphold. Kenya's judiciary has gained significant independence with the enactment of the 2010 Constitution that served to pry power and control of the executive over the judiciary. Previously, the president had the power to appoint not only the Chief Justice of the Court of Appeal, then Kenya's highest court, but also all the members of the Judicial Service Commission, responsible for hiring and disciplining judges. The security of tenure that now comes with the 2010 Constitution has served to embolden judges to do their jobs without fear, and since then, the country's judicial landscape has been littered with court decisions that would otherwise have appeared unthinkable. The president's recent and current outbursts against the judiciary have critics worried that the executive is attempting to return the country to the pre-2010 times, where the judiciary was threatened and intimidated to do the executive's bidding. Many leaders have been condemning President Ruto attacks on judiciary. Listen to their comments.
We wish to condemn in the strongest terms possible the utterances by the head of state that he was given a sword upon inauguration and he will use that sword on people he considers to be enemies of the Republic of Kenya by virtue of them exercising their right to go to court and challenge government decisions, including those that have gone to court to challenge the housing levy. We consider that to be a veiled threat to, one, the judiciary, and two, to all the parties that are engaged in that litigation. The Constitution guarantees the rights of every Kenyan to challenge and go to court where they feel that their rights are being threatened. So we hope that the President of the Republic of Kenya will be properly guided, and he will allow the ongoing constitutional processes to take place, and that he will not try to use shortcuts to achieve whatever means he seeks to.
He can make a report to the appropriate officers, including the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, to the Inspector General of Police, if a judge indeed has been bribed. These are all the tools the president could use, but he cannot say that he is going to defy a judicial decision. So long as that judicial decision is not overturned, is part of the law of the land. And I think of all the statements the president has made, this is the most dangerous, is the most reckless, is undermining the Constitution and the sovereign power of the people, because judicial authority is delegated to the executive, to the courts, and the judiciary does not share the judicial authority with the President of the Republic of Kenya.
Institution is sabotaging him. And this is not about the judiciary. This is about where Ruto wishes to take Kenya and what it means for Kenyans. Having captured Parliament, Ruto now wants to intimidate, subdue, and capture the judiciary. He wants the judges not to hear cases against his policies, dismiss such cases, or always rule in his favor. In other words, Ruto wants to establish an absolute dictatorship. Our judiciary is imperfect. It has corrupt elements. But Ruto cannot convince us that the judiciary is more corrupt than the executive branch of the government, which he leads. Corruption resides in the executive. The worst case of executive corruption, of impunity, right now is the acquittal of Mr. Henry Rotich over the Aror and Kimarel dams, where whooping 63 billion Kenya shillings was lost. The executive went all out to ensure witnesses were never summoned, or those summoned were never questioned. We appeal to the judiciary to stand firm in defense of the professionalism, independence, rule of law, and constitutionalism. In this judiciary, I see products of the old struggle against a vicious dictatorship. I trust that they will not allow judicial proceedings and decisions to be determined by Ruto's tantrums. With all its weaknesses and challenges, the judiciary, alongside external vigilance by citizens, remains our best bet against a return to dictatorship. On the subject of Mr. Ruto's latest strange rage, the judiciary is too critical to the well-being of our country and our democracy, making it extremely important that we call Ruto out and tell him that he has crossed the line. It remains our position to date that disobeying court rulings is a sure path to chaos and the collapse of a nation. Mr. Ruto has captured Parliament, and bills now come straight from State House and get ratified by the lawmakers. Sometimes up to 2 bills or 3 are ratified in one afternoon. There's no debate in bunge these days on bills. Sasa yale ambayo anafanya sasa ni vitisho. kujaribu kutisha mahakama, eti mahakama inapewa rushwa ndio watoe uamuzi dhidi ya serikali. Na anasema yeye sasa hata heshimu uamuzi wa mahakama, ataendelea kufanya kazi yake hata dhidi ya uamuzi wa mahakama. Hiyo yenyewe inaonyesha kwamba anataka kuacha utawala ya kisheria na kikatiba na kutawala nchi hii kwa njia ya dikteta. Mtu akiongea hiyo lugha, ambaye anaongea hiyo lugha, ajue ile kitu ambayo anafanya. Yeye anataka nchi hii iteketee. Manake kama anasema yeye hawezi kuheshimu sheria, na Wakenya wengine walisema kama serikali, kama rais wenyewe hawezi kuheshimu sheria na uamuzi wa mahakama, sababu gani sisi wenyewe tushurutishe kuheshimu? Na hiyo ni njia moja ya kupeleka nchi hii kaburini. Ni sababu tumeambia Bwana Ruto, heshimu mahakama. Vile vile usijaribu kuteka mahakama nyara, ati mahakama iwe ni kama karagosi ya serikali. Wacha mahakama wafanye kazi yao kulingana na sheria na katiba vile imewekwa. Nafuata sheria hiyo. Kama mahakama imesema hii ni mbaya, heshimu. Kama wewe unaweza kukata rufaa kwa hiyo mahakama mpaka ufike kule juu kileleni huko, pale ambapo huko ni marafiki yako.
The Constitution of Kenya made the three arms of government to be independent so that each would protect the rights of Kenyans. All arms were meant to correct each other, and that there is no arm that should seem to be giving the other command. Leaders of all arms are supposed to work together to achieve a common goal. Any president or executive who may think and act against the independence of any arm will not deliver services to citizens properly. We have come to an end of this video. We remind you to please subscribe to our channel if you have not yet. Kindly like this video and leave a comment for us and other viewers. Thank you so much for watching our video up to the end. Let's meet in our next video. Goodbye.